So this time, we are now on our module 2, which is substantially about budgeting and financial projections. For today, we'll be focusing on budgeting. So have you tried budgeting your allowance? Nag-budget mo sa inyong allowance? Or kuan lang? Whatever may dapat disburse lang po. Okay? So, bisan sa tong normal routine sa toang life as a student, I believe we do budgeting. No? For example, if the face-to-face stuff or during your last year, available from face-to-face. Let's say, gapuyo mo sa inyo wala mong ga-board. Because I believe if you are away from your parents, the boarding house mo, ang budgeting which is very po, evident. For as a student, let's say lang taga-diri mo, and very simple scenario wherein you have to budget your baon. So if na may baon 50 pesos, and that 50 pesos is for a day. It include your transportation costs, it include your snacks, it include your lunch, let's say for example, mo sudan, what else? And other related expenses in mo study, mga photocopies, nga lang. So, knowing that you have that list of expenses and you have an idea how much can you spend for that particular expenses, and you also know that you have available 50 pesos, so how will you budget that one? So, pwede, butangin mo transportation cost, 20 pesos. Imong sudan sa lunch, 10 pesos. Then imong snack, another, let's say, 10 pesos. And for your photocopies, 10 pesos again. So, a total of 50 pesos. So, with that particular example, guys, that is a very simple way of application of budgeting. Okay? So budgeting includes planning, and of course, it includes control. Okay. Haman dito ang planning nga part. Pag-decide nimo pila ang allocate nga money for the budget ana nga particular expenses or costs, of course, you have to plan. In the planning, it involves information. It could be external information or internal information. Okay, just like atong transportation cost. Of course, you have to know, let's say, estimate pila ang pamasahe. Of course, nakabalo naman ta pila na. Pero, if we put that one in the organization, mostly, they were estimated. If not estimated, they were based on their previous information available. So, for example, ilang mga expenses before, pila ilang nagasto, naga-benchmark sila sa ilang suppliers. Okay? So, it involves planning. If that is in the organization setting, you will know that it is not that easy. Budgeting involves a lot of work. Diba? So, and the information is not always available. Okay? So, you do planning. Sa planning dito ninyo makita kung sa mga factors ang pwede maka-affect. The demand, the situation of the market, may nga. So, for example, natay mga pila kay demand aning ang product. And that involves manpower. Aside from the information, you have to know who will be the people responsible for that one. Will be the people accountable for that one. Okay? Another thing, you have to know when is your target to accomplish that one. Okay? So when we picture it out, the budget involves somewhat forecasting and projection, but it is way more concrete plan because it has to be specific and should have the time frame. Okay? So aside from planning, budget is also a tool for control. Okay, let's go back to my example earlier. Say mo 50 pesos baon, 20 pesos is for your transportation costs back and forth, 10 pesos para sa sudaan, another 10 pesos for the snacks, and 10 pesos for photocopies and others. So that is a total of 50 pesos. Now, if you don't have control regarding your expenditure or how did you spend your available baon 50 pesos, then there's a possibility that you will be saman. You will be overspending. Ma-short mo sa inyong budget or ma-short inyong allowance. So, imbes mo snack 10 pesos and you spend burger that is worth 15 pesos. So, there is already overspending of 5 pesos related to your snack. So, that's why having the budget plan, you could control the cost, expenses, expenditures, and disbursement of the company. Okay? So, nga na siya guys, ka-importante, not just sa organization, but even sa to ang own routine. We have to apply budgeting. I believe your parents will apply budgeting. How they will spend their income so that they could provide the family without short, di ba? Though, dili man jud malikayan no nga modify or mo deviate sa tong gi-allow nga budget, but then we have to control. That's why if your plan is accurate and the information you've got is accurate, I believe imposing control will not be that hard. Kaya nakabase man ta sa plano. Okay? So, balik ka sa itong example. Wala sa imong budget, ang let's say, palit ka o load. Say lang. So, wala sa imong budget ang load. So, that is out of the budget plan. So, that's why there were things na dapat, if wala sa itong plan, you have to call this, adjust. No? Okay. Let's move on. So I hope by this time you have an idea why budgeting is really important and crucial for the part of a business organization or any organization. Okay? Don't limit yourself for profit entity. Any organization would really implement and make their own budget plan. So let me just read this one. Okay? This is, theoretical part of what is a budget is in here. Okay, lesson 1. Okay. We have what we refer long-term financial plans and short-term financial plans. Of course, the main difference is how these financial plans would implicate or direct the company. Long-term financial plans, from the word long-term itself, it is the overall direction of the company. Meaning, this is one of the ultimate objective. In order to achieve that ultimate objective and goals of the company, they have this long-term financial plans. And we also have short-term financial plans. Generally, short-term financial plans should be in line with long-term financial plans. Whatever goals that is supported by long-term financial plans will also be the goal of short-term financial plan. Meaning, in line yapon sila. But this time, we'll be focusing on short-term financial plans. This one is related on the operation of the company. So for example, sa mga objective na short-term, let's say for the Columban, examples na to short-term is Columban will increase the student admission by 10% for the next 2 years. Ano? So, when we make objective, make sure that it is smart, specific, measurable, attainable, okay? And timely. Ang time niya. Okay, so this is the difference. You may just read this one. What is the difference between short-term financial plan and long-term financial plan? So how did we do financial planning? So we have this process. Of course, number one, guys, you have to set your objective. After setting your objective, you have to know the available resources of the organization. So may mga resources organization. How will that resources be utilized in order for you to reach your goals or objective? So, or ang imong resources is not enough to achieve your goals or objective. So, first, identify ang objective and goals. Identify ang resources that needs to be utilized. Third, what are the related tasks to achieve the goal or objective? Okay? So again, it must be observable, measurable, and dapat na ay time frame. So na example, diri increase the 2021 net profit margin. So yeah. So this is the goal, and the related task is to how will you increase the net profit margin. So nasya dira no. Fourth, you have to establish the responsibility center. Unsa man nga particular position or department or responsibility center ang accountable for that specific task. Okay? And the timeline. Para ma-check paano nga time after 2 months, musta na ang plan. Okay? So responsibility center should be established. Next, ma-establish ang evaluation system. Monitoring and controlling is very important. If you have planned, then implement na. Then how would you know that what you have planned was implemented correctly or properly? So, kinahanglan tao monitoring o controlling. You monitor if the plan was implemented as what it is planned or wala nang kadimao. Okay? So, very important si monitoring o controlling. Number 6 is contingency plan. This is very important. Okay? There should be always contingency in your planning. what is the other analogy for this? Contingency, okay, let's say you have, diba, you have baon, gani, you have 50 pesos. And then, you believe that there is unforeseen expenses. Baka si ma'am is um, magpa-research o kailangan ko mang-internet. So, it could be na amoy gialat nga um, extra money, diba? So, that extra money you could utilize that one if there is any unforeseen possible expenses sa inyong pag-eskwela ng adlaw. So, that is one way of contingency plan. Though the plan is not really there, pero the concept or the purpose was there. If ever there is an unforeseen event or mga unexpected event, you have contingency plan. Okay? So, very timely, the pandemic nowadays. If the organization doesn't have their contingency plan, then what do you think will happen? Mag-bankrupt and then mag-close. Ano, no? So, without a proper contingency plan or walay ma-establish na contingency plan, then there might be major drawback for that one. Because sometimes a company, after having the planning, though, dili dyan siya, what you call this? Not that, okay, depende yun dyan sa company. Dagko ang company, of course, magkadaga nag-contingency plan sila. Pero kada mga small businesses, dili kayo ang contingency planning, not that, ina-apply. Okay? Kung kano sana ay mahitabo nga event, usa pa pod mag-plano. So you should have contingency plan if you will do financial planning. So for budgeting, okay, so you have financial planning and then we go to the budgeting. But this time, the budgeting will be focused on the operation. When we say operation, it includes the sales, the production, the cash flow. Okay? So, kana nga tulon. Then we have nga sub-topic sa operation. Diba? Sales, production. Kinsa man ang mga kauban niya nga part. Si materials, si labor, factory overhead. So, diri ninyo makita how will you prepare budget. So, in every budget company, we always start with the sales forecast. Mao na tong very starting point. With the sales forecast, pwede na dahil na to ma-come up or ma-complete ang other budget schedule. Okay? So, your assignment is very the same with the example in this module. Gilahi lang ang mga figures. Okay? So, unaw na to ang sales forecast. Okay. So, as I've mentioned earlier, you have to know what is the available information. So, dapat makakuha ang company og information sa demand ba, okay, sa economic condition, so yung ana, so that they will have an idea if kusog ba ilang halin. So, even ka na mga small na sari-sari store, dili lang formal way, but na sila yung mga own hunch. Akaning kuan load kusog ni diri, so dapat daghan kog ipa-load wallet ana no. So nicely hunch unsa nga mga product ang kusog. So kung mo na mga kusog nga product, mo po na mas daghan nila kumprahon. Pero napay mga product nga dili kay halinon, let's say sa sari-sari store ang di kay halinon, depende sa place no. Pero yeah, ingana. So in this example, ang gihatag na information is the possible sales, key projected sales, if the company is good, if the company is fair, or if the company is bad. What will happen to the sales? So there is 50% probability for the company to be good. This is based on available information. And accordingly, if good ang economy, the quarter 1 sales is 74,000, while the quarter 2 sales is 92,000. Quarter 3 is 80,000 and quarter 4 is 102,000. But if it is fair, it will be 50,000, 80,000, 70,000, and 90,000. And the economy to be fair has a probability of 30%. What if bad ang economy? Pila lang ang masold sa company? For quarter 1, 40,000. For quarter 2, 50,000. For quarter 3, 45,000. And for quarter 4, 60,000. And there is a 20% chance that the economy will be bad. So, having the probability percentage and the amounts, we have to compute the expected value. The same expected value, it will just multiply the probability to the amount and then add in every economic condition. So let's see, for quarter 1, 50% of 74,000, so that ma-reflect kung good ang economy. Expected value, 37,000. If fair ang economy, 30% multiplied to the amount, 50,000, expected value, 15,000. What if bad? 40,000 times 20%, that is 8,000. When you add this one, the total expected units to be sold is 60,000. So that is 37 plus 15 plus 8,000. So total of 60,000 units expected to be sold. And then you multiply to the selling price, 20 pesos. So the budget forecasted sales is 1.2 million. Meaning there is a budgeted sales for quarter 1 equal to 1.2 million. So, nato lang kakuan guys, direct ang iyang computation when you make the budgeted sales or the schedule for the sales forecast. So, by looking in this schedule, you will know that sa quarter 1 di ay naay forecasted sale ang company nga 1.2 million. Basing on this one, you will now have an idea pila dapat ang atong kumprahon nga materials, pila dapat atong i-hire nga employee in order to create our product, okay? And the overhead. So the same process with the quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. Just follow that one. So for the whole year, so in this last column, we'll just add this one. so that you will get the year forecast or the annual forecast. Kani man by quarter. And in a year, there are 4 quarters. So if a year forecast here, we just add the quarter sales. Okay, so do you have questions so far regarding the sales forecast or clarification? Any questions so far?
Wala na, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move on to production budget. Gingani ba ninyo yung assignment? So, yeah. Production budget, it includes 3, no? I mean 4. Aside from the overall master budget for the production, naputay material usage, material purchase, okay, naputay labor and factory overhead budget. So, let's go first with the budgeted production. Guys, kabalo na ta pila to ang possible sales. Diba, quarter 1, natay possible sales na 60,000 units. So, you have an idea, pila dapat atong i-produce nga product. Okay, then the company would have the policy. Do we have to produce exactly 60,000? Depende, no? So, say, or most of the time, ano sila ipa-allowance nga gamay. Kung estimated nga mahalin is 100,000, ang ilang i-produce, pwede more than 100,000. For conservative ang company, they would prefer to produce much lower units. Pero guys, if that is the case, sayang ang opportunity na pwede lang ta maka-earn pa og money ang company. So, katong second na mas gamay sa budgeted sales, ilang i-produce is very unlikely because there will be a lot of opportunity cost there. This mahalinan pa, more earnings on ka, then kasi tungod na conservative ilang kuan, wala kay sila ga produce og product. So, nga na. Let's examine the policy of the company. So, in our example, the corporation, okay, has budgeted unit sales, okay, na to sa taas. Ang first quarter, 60,000. Second quarter, 80,000. And then third quarter, 70,000. Fourth quarter, 90,000. So, we'll just write that one here. And then, let's write that one. First quarter, we have 60. Second quarter, 80. 70. And 90,000. So, na policy, giingon diri. The company has a policy that the maintaining finished goods inventory should be equal to 20% of the next quarter sales and materials inventory of 30% of current quarter's requirement. Okay, so saan gimin diri? It means dapat na ay finished product equal to 20% na mabilin. Kung say maintain, dapat unahan pa. Dapat at the end of the first quarter, napay mabilin 20%. Ano, no? And the materials in making the product, dapat na siya available pa na 30% of the current quarter's requirement. Meaning, if the requirement for this quarter, 100 ka materials, dapat ang mabilin 30%. So, 100 times 30, that's 30 units. Okay, unsa may kinahanglan niya to produce their product? Kinahanglan siya og 3 pounds of materials EX23 to produce a unit of product. So, nanakay idea na taga product dapat 3 pounds of AX23 ang magamit. And then, pilay ko an. The materials inventory at the start of the year was recorded at 75,000 pounds. So, there is an available 75,000 pounds na materials. And then, material AX23 cost 1.20. So, this cost would allow us to know what is the budget for purchasing the materials. Okay, let's prepare the budgeted production. Okay, kabalota nga ang sales in units for quarter 1 is 60, quarter 2 80, 70, and 90. And then, from the policy sa company, dapat na mabilin nga product at the end of each quarter. By how much? From the policy, dapat na mabilin nga 20% of the next quarter sales. So, manilahang policy. So, 20% of the next quarter sales. Quarter 1, ang next quarter sales is the quarter 2 na sales, which is 80,000. So, 20% ana is 16,000. So, guys, don't be nga maudyo na permi ang policy. No. Depende sa company. So, you have to read the problem carefully. Kung sa'y dapat basa niya, pwede man good, umayon siya nga 100% sa beginning inventory. Meaning, mag-equal-equal ra dapat tanan. Pwede po umayon siya nga i-zero niya ang inventory end. So, depende sa problem. But for this example, ang iyang policy, 20% of the company's next quarter sales. So, that's how we get that one. So, you have here the computation. 80,000 times 20%, pagka quarter 2, i-base na po is the quarter 3. 70,000 times 20%, so we get 14,000. For the quarter 4, quarter 3, ang i-base is the quarter 4 sales, 90,000 times 20%, 18,000. Next, pagka quarter 4, diba, next quarter sales. So, meaning, the first quarter of year 2017. Because quarter 4 is the end of the 2016. That is October, November, December. So, ang next quarter niya is the first quarter of the year 2017. So, based sa tong problem, the given is, na first quarter 2017, 75,000, and then 20% of that is 15,000. Okay? So that's how we get the finished goods inventory. And again, be careful sa gihatag na policy. So we will just add that one. Kung kinahanglan ka, mubaligya kag 60,000, eh dapat na mabili nga 16,000. So, ang kinahanglan ninyo nga product i-produce is the sum of the budgeted sales and the allotted finished goods. And, so, i-add lang na siya, guys. That is the total units needed to be produced. And then the finished goods beginning. So, whatever inventory nga mabilin from previous quarter, ma-carry over na siya pagka next quarter. Okay? See, for example, this one. 76,000 for quarter 1 or 76,000 units are needed to be produced. Pero, na may na-produce na 12,000 daan, which is the beginning. So, ang kinahanglan na lang dyan i-produce is now 64,000. So, ang manigi ka ng 16,000. As I've mentioned earlier, the ending inventory from previous quarter will become the beginning inventory of the current quarter. Pila na yung ending inventory sa previous quarter? That is quarter 4 of 2015. Diba? Yung ending finished goods ending inventory is 20% of the next quarter sales. So may next quarter sa quarter 4 2015. That is quarter 1 2016, which is this one. Okay? So quarter 1 2016 ay ang sales 60,000. So 20% of 60,000 finished good end is 12,000. So ang ending sa previous quarter will become the beginning in the current quarter 2016 quarter 1 12,000. Okay? So that's how we get the 12,000 units as finished goods beginning. So for quarter 2, again, the ending inventory from previous quarter will become the beginning inventory for the current quarter. 14,000, no? Okay? So after deducting the beginning finished goods, we will now have the total units to be produced. So, ang budgeted production mo na dahil ni 64,000 for quarter 1, 78,000 for quarter 2, 74,000 for quarter 3, and 87,000 for quarter 4. Okay? Now, let's go to the materials usage. Pila ka materials ang dapat magamit? Kabalo na tangad na kinahanglan og ingani ka units ang i-produce 64, 78, 74, and 87,000. And from the problem, ingon siya nga, in every unit, makagasto og 3 pounds of materials. So, this will give us now pila ka materials ang needed in order to produce our finished good. So, i-multiply lang nato sa number of pounds. Okay? Every unit needs 3 pounds to produce the finished good. One finished good. Okay? So, by multiplying that one, we will now have the value of the total number of pounds needed to produce this 64,000 units. So, para day makaproduce tag 64,000 units, kinahanglan ta og 192 pounds of the materials. So, gi-multiply lang ng 3. So, guys, if your product involves more than one material, so every material, buhatan ninyo og ingani. Ingani yung schedule. So, material 1. Next, material 2. Ingani gyapon. Material 3. You have to make a schedule for each material needed in producing the product. And then to know the cost, pilay magasto nato Sa paggamit sa direct materials, of course, we will multiply the selling price of our direct material, which is 1.20. So now we will have now the material cost to 3,400 to 8,800 to 6,400 and 313,200. This is after multiplying the price of our material. Tingnan na lang. Next, for the materials purchase, so this time, imo na pong estimate pila imuhang komprahon nga direct materials. Diba, nanatay koan? Makinahanglan din nato nga material is for quarter 1, 192,000, quarter 2, 234,000, quarter 3, 222,000, and quarter 4, kani, 261,000. Okay. So, after knowing nga ing ani kadaghan nga materials yung needed, you have to know pila inyo ang komprahon. Komprahon ba ninyo tanang 192,000 for the quarter 1? Of course, i-consider sa ninyo ang pila na bilin nga materials. Pwede man nga na sila na kumpradaan. So it will give you an idea pila na lay kulang. Okay? So, let's go back to the policy. Okay, from our policy, 30% of the current quarter's requirement ang i-maintain. Meaning, dapat natay ending materials 30%. Okay. So you multiply the kaning budgeted materials, because this is the total materials needed for quarter 1. Muna yung material atong basis for the 30% of the current requirement. The current requirement for quarter 1 is 192,000. 192,000. And then, accordingly, 30% should be the maintained inventory, materials inventory end. So 30% of 192,000, 192,000 is 57,600. So meaning, ang total kinahanglan nato para gamit sa pag-produce sa product o para naya po mabili nga 30% is 249,600. So, you have now to evaluate if dapat ba na to komprahon ng 249,600 tanan. But, according to the problem, natay beginning at inventory nga 75,000. Therefore, dili na to komprahon tanang 249,600. But the lacking, pila na may kulang na natay 75,000. So, ang kulang after deducting is 174,600. And then multiply to the cost. So, budget kag materials purchases 209,520 pesos. So, that's how you compute or make the schedule for budgeted material purchases. And again, whatever the ending inventory will become the beginning inventory for the next quarter. Na siya diri? Okay. So, yeah.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
Rehe ato na sa taas, ma'am. For example, daghan sa materials, ma'am. Daghan ang sa budgeted material purchases, ma'am, per item gihapon, ma'am.
Yeah, you have to do it per item also.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any questions? Okay, let's continue. We are now on the direct labor budget and factory overhead budget. Okay, diri taman to ang requirements sa inyong assignment. But later on, I will post another assignment wherein you have to continue cash budget until, yeah. So you have to make the cash budget later. Okay, so we will now examine the data for the direct labor and factory overhead. Accordingly, ang rate sa personnel, 20 pesos per hour, labor hour. And it takes 0.25 hours to complete a finished unit. So meaning, para mahuman ang isa ka product, you need 1/4 hour. So 1/4 of 60 minutes, that's 15 minutes. Nang 15 minutes para mahuman ang isa ka product. And then, ang bayad nimo sa usa ka tawo per hour, 20 pesos. Okay? And the standard variable overhead rate is 5 pesos direct labor hour. And the budgeted fixed overhead per quarter is 75,000. So, just a quick overview. What is a variable overhead? That is mga expenses na dili related sa materials, direct materials, dili related sa direct labor hour. So, if dili nimo siya maklasify under direct materials and under direct labor hour, we classify that one as factory overhead. And then, this factory overhead is classified into two. Pwede siya variable, pwede fixed. When we say variable, kung dagag buhaton ang company nga product, magka dako ang gasto. We also have fixed. Regardless of how many units to be produced, fixed ra jud siya. One example, depreciation expense of a machinery. When you depreciate, fixed na lang. Amo na yung depreciation. Regardless if pila i-produce. Unlike the variable expenses, so may example sa variable nga overhead. Let's say, paint. Okay? The paint is, what do you call this? A material, pero we classify them as overhead because dili siya kanang directly traceable to the product. I mean, kung mangumpra kag paint, i-apply na nimo sa tanang kuha nimo furniture. So, mas dagan kag furniture ibuhaton, mas dagan paint na gasto. So, yeah. Variable overhead. So, natin idea, ang variable overhead is 5 pesos per direct labor hour. This is the rate. And then the fixed overhead, 75,000. So with this information, we could now prepare the budgeted labor cost. Pila'y magasto nila related to their labors in order to produce their target a number of units. So balik na po ta. Quarter 1, kinahanglan og 64,000 ka product. Agay nigikan, of course, from our budgeted production schedule. So we multiply to the number of hours needed to produce one product. Accordingly, one product needs 0.25 hour. So we multiply. So we need 16,000 direct labor hours. So, kaning 16,000 direct labor hours, pila na magastos sa company ani? I-multiply the rate. Taga oras, ang mabayad sa company is 20 pesos. Hence, ang magastos sa company related to direct labor has a total amount of 320,000. So, ano lang, you get the number of units needed to be produced from our budgeted production schedule sa taas, and then multiply pila ka number of hours needed to produce per unit. Then next, to know the cost, is you have to multiply to the labor rate per hour. So that's how you prepare budgeted labor cost. How about factory overhead? So we have two parts here. First, the variable, and then the fixed overhead. Okay, fixed overhead, no problem. 75,000 na sila tanan because again, regardless of pilay ma-produce nila nga product, fixed yun na siya nga 75,000. One example again for the fixed is the rental sa factory. When you rent, balag wala pagigamit ang factory, you still have to pay as long as you've already entered the contract to rent. Next, let's go to the variable overhead. Diba, ang gi-allot nga budgeted labor hours to produce the 64,000 products is 16,000 hours. And accordingly, ang rate per direct labor hour related to variable overhead is 5 pesos. So, yan na lang, 16,000 multiplied to variable overhead rate per hour, 5 pesos. So, dapat mo budget ta og 80,000 pesos related to variable factory overhead plus the fixed factory overhead nga 75,000. So the total budgeted factory overhead for quarter 1 is 155,000. So the same process for the following quarters, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, yes, gang.
Um, about sa budget material purchase, ma'am, kanang mga tanaw balik din hinay manggod akong signal. Kanang how did they get the 75 sa materials inventory beginning?
Yeah. So that is from the problem. Tiri, di ba? So, balik ta sa problem. This 75,000 was mentioned sa toang problem. Dari.
Ah,
The materials inventory at the start of the year was recorded at 75,000 pounds. That's where we get the material inventory beginning for quarter 1. Given here.
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Na ako'y question, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
Sa factory overhead budget, ma'am, sa fixed factory overhead under sa year 2016. Diyan sa asa na nagkuha sa ma'am 300K.
Okay. So for year 2016, this is just the total of the whole quarter, the 4 quarters. 75 plus 75 plus 75 plus 75. So, if buhatan na to siya annual, itotal lang na to upat ka quarter. Okay? So that's how we get the total, 300,000. This same with the 75, 750. Itotal lang ng quarter 1 plus quarter 2 plus quarter 3 plus quarter 4.
What about sa budget production, ma'am? Kini sa finished goods beginning. Unsa na siya, ma'am? Kining 12, 16, 14, 18 i-minus ni siya tanan, ma'am, to get the 12,000?
Okay. So, the idea here, imagine yourself na per year na ta. So, the setting is, ng taon na to, pila ang sugod sa year 2016. So, kung walang taon na to, pila ang sugod sa year 2016, of course, balik ta sa quarter 1. Pilay beginning sa quarter 1, that is 12,000. While sa ending, so ang taon na po na to, pilay end sa year 2016. And the end is something to do sa quarter 4. That's why whatever the ending sa quarter 4 will become the ending for the year 2016 mo na 15,000. Okay, don't be confused ha. Sa year 2016 mong itong gilantaw is the whole year. So lantaw na to ang beginning, anang sugod sa 2A, which is related to quarter 1. Walang ending, related sa quarter 4. Whatever the ending sa quarter 4 will be the ending for that specific year. So lantaw ninyo ang 15,000 na ending finished good, that is from quarter 4. 15,000. On the 12,000 beginning inventory, this is from beginning goods nga gikan sa quarter 1, 12,000. The same concept will apply sa materials. Okay, lantawa ang materials purchases. Ang ending, nagikuha siya sa quarter 4, 78,300 dire. Ang beginning, kaning 75,000. Manatong beginning inventory related to materials at the year. Any clarification?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, let's continue. This time, we are to prepare the budgeted cash collection, cash payment, and cash budget. Okay, let's go over to the problem so that we will process the available information in preparing the schedule. So from the example, all sales are made on credit. So meaning, tanang makuha nila nga sale is on credit or receivable. La sila cash sales. Receivable from customer are collected at 60% in each quarter of sales, while 30% in the following quarter, and 8% in the second quarter following sale. And the remaining 2% is considered uncollectible. So meaning, sa iyang current quarter, makakuha siya sa iyang makakolect og 60%. Pagka next quarter, si quarter 2, ang makakolect niya is 30%. Pagka quarter 3, ang makolect na lang niya is 8%. So, the 2% will be considered uncollectible or dili na ma-collect, dili na matingil. So, this is the pattern sa collection ni company. For example, nakabaligya sila balig 100 pesos for quarter 1. Ang makolect nila sa quarter 1 is 60. Ka following month or following quarter, Ang makolek na lang is 30% of 100, 30. And quarter 3, 8% of 100 will be collected, so 8 pesos. So 98 pesos na lang ang nakolek, and the 2% is uncollectible already. Okay, so yeah. And then we continue. The terms of purchase of materials is 230 and 45. So do you know how to read this discount term or how to interpret this one? Okay, anyone? Say interpretation na to ani? 230 and 45. What does it mean? Do you have any idea? Any idea about this? Maka-encounter mo ingani puhon. How will you interpret this one? This is a discount term.
May 2% discount within 30 days, ma'am.
Yeah, that is correct, no? If you're going to pay within the first 30 days, you are entitled with the 2% discount and net of 45 days. Meaning, ang deadline niya is after 45 days or on 45th day. So, deadline on the 45th day, and then if mabayad ka on or before the 30th day, you are entitled with 2% discount. So, ang discount nasa first, no? Very first, the numerator. And then, the next figure, kaning 30, is the number of days nga allowed pa i-avail si discount. So, pwede man gud nga kamoy what call this? Paipon sa adlaw. So, kamoy mo ihap 30 days plasa ninyo. Okay? Pwede ni 10 days, 15 days, so depende sa discount term.
Adlaw ng 30, ma'am.
Yeah.
Then,
So,
balik ko, kung dapat sulod sa 30 days, ma'am, kung makakuan siya na, ma'am, kay na siya discount nga 2%.
yeah. Gimin mong good ani, nangutang si company sa pag-purchase. So, if mo bayad siya within 30 days, first 30 days, from sa iyang utang, pag-utang, maka-discount siya og 2%. So, what if ang gibutang is 5, 15, and 30? So, man nato ni pag-interpret. That is 5% within 50 days net of 30. Meaning, if the company will pay within the 15 days, first 15 days, maka-avail siya og 5%. Pero 16th day na and so on, wala na discount. And the due date is within 30 days. So, Ana, that's how you will interpret this discount term. First figure is the percent for the discount. And then, the next figure is the number of days nga maka-avail si company for the discount. Number of days. Okay, let's continue.
Excuse me, ma'am. Kining kuan, ma'am, N45.
Okay, that is not 45, meaning the due date will be on the 45th day.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, balik kung malapas, maitan, ma'am, kung malapas siya, ay kung nasa 31 days, ma'am, dili na siya maka-avail og discount.
Yes, that's correct. Okay? Any clarification, guys, before we proceed? Okay, let's continue. The company pays 55% of its purchases in the quarter of purchase. Meaning, magbayad siya sa iyang purchase 55% for that current quarter. And the remaining balance will be sa sunod quarter. Remaining balance is pila man? 45%. 55 minus 100. So, na 45%, mabarya niya pagkasunod quarter. Accordingly, the accounts payable at December 31, 2014 are recorded at 81,000. By the way, this is not 2014. This is 2015 pala. Okay. Which is the previous year. Current year na to, di ba ron, is 2016. And then this is December 31, 2015. Naa siya'y utang, payable nga, 81,000. For the accounts receivable, naa siya'y tinglunon nga, 640,000 related to previous quarter. Okay. Other cash transaction. The retail corporation pays its labor cost in the month the payroll is recorded, and overhead costs are paid in the quarter it is incurred. And 30% of the total fixed overhead is non-cash. Pardon sa guys for a while. Okay, can you hear me guys? I changed my audio. Okay. Nadunggan ra ko?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Madunggan ra, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's continue. This additional information or other transactions, cash related transactions. Okay, this will affect, this will be reflected sa tuang cash budget schedule. For the budgeted cash collection from customer, okay, so this time, nga netong format ha, from sales, okay, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. And then credit sales. Manigikan ang credit sales, guys. Balik ta sa tuang
Budgeted
sales
sales,
forecast.
ma'am.
Okay. Diba kani? So, ang sales in pesos, this will be our credit So, dira na po nagikuha. Okay? So, kabalo na ta pila tong tilngon nun per quarter. And then, pilay na tingil. So, di ba, from our given, ang matingil is 60% of the current quarter, then 30%, then 8%. Okay. So, 60% of 1.2 million, matingil siya sa quarter 1. While the 30% matingil sa quarter 2. And the 8% matingil sa quarter 3. Okay, so that's how we compute that one. 1.2 million times 60% times 30% times 8%. Okay, kaning 584,000, this is the amount nga natingil related to previous quarter. So previous quarter, since this is quarter 1, previous quarter niya is the 2015. Remember guys, nga ang process na to, current quarter 60%. Next quarter 30%. Next quarter 8%. Okay? Kung imo ni siyang i-trace jud, kani si 584,000, that is the total sa unsa man. So atong i-work ba? That is quarter 1 2016, quarter 4 2015, quarter 3 2015. So ano no? Okay. So ang sales diri, credit sales, naa kay makolek diri nga sa quarter 1 30%. Diri man siya next quarter 30%. So ang nabaligya diri sa 2015, 30% from the 2015 makolek sa quarter 1 2016. Next, kaning quarter 3 2015, ang sales related diri will be collected sa 2016 natay makolek gyapon nga 8%. 8% related to quarter 3 2015. So ana no? So though wala na gipakita ang computation, but that is the idea here. So meaning dili lang isa ka quarter ang makolek, but appeal to mga previous sales from previous quarter. Ito lang magka-ladder lang 60-38. Okay.
Pero
But the
given,
problem, yeah. But for this problem, yatag na siya. Diba? That is, ara siya. 584,000 was collected on the first quarter. So, gihatag na daritso.
yung 640, ma'am, mapunta, ma'am.
Okay. So, 640,000, that is the total receivable. Pero dili na to siya ma-work back kay wala ta kabalo pila diri ang related sa quarter 4 2015 o quarter 3 2015. Dili na to ma-recheck no. Kay gihatagan naman po niya daritso og total collection related to 640,000. Pero kung gihatagan ta niya og pila kang quarter 3 2015 o kang quarter 4 2015, we will now have an idea pila ato ang katong 30% o 8%. Pero wala man niya gibuak, iya man gitotal. So, di na ito ma-work back. But anyway, since na naman tayo 584,000, then that is, gamito na ito nga amount. But the idea here, 2% will not be collected. Okay? But regardless, Dili na ma-reflect ang uncollectible because our concern is pila ang collection for this particular quarter. So you might be asking, no ma'am, what naman napadulong ang kuan ma'am? Difference kay 584,000 lang man. So dili siya makita sa tong budgeting, no? Kaya ang ma-reflect niya is the amount collected. Regardless kung ahagikan nga sales. Previous year ba to or karon nga year? So ang concern, kani nga quarter, pila tong makulay. Okay? Let's go to quarter 2. The same process. But this time, ang quarter 2 na siya makulay na related sa quarter 1 sales. That is 30%. Makulay na 60%, ang 30% makulay sa quarter 2. And then, sa quarter 3, ang 8%. And then, ang current quarter sales nga 1.6 million na makolek nga 60%. And then, the remaining 30% pagka next quarter, 8% for the next quarter. For the quarter 3, the same process. 60% for the current quarter, so 1.4 times 60. 30% pagka next quarter. Pagka next quarter, which is quarter 1 of 2017. So, makolek niya is 8% of the sale of quarter 3 2016. So, 8% of 1.4 million. Okay? Next, pagka quarter 4, okay, 60% of the current quarter sales. And then, we total na siya daritso. So, you have now the schedule for the total budgeted cash collection. So, with this cash collection schedule, you will now have an idea pilang available cash ni company. For the payment, very the same sa cash collection. And then, so, ang payment, di ba, accordingly, sa first or the current quarter, ang ibayad niya is 45%. And then, ang remaining balance is 55%. So, take note guys, natay 180,000. This one is related to the previous year. Okay. Balik ta sa tong payment or collection. So, 55% ang bariyan karon nga quarter. Pagka next quarter, 45%. Mahigingan sa problem, no? So, we will just apply that one. But accordingly, may accounts payable nga 180,000. This is related to quarter 4 2015. So, it means atong bayad is current quarter, 55%. Next quarter, impasa na nato, barya nato ang 45%. So, pagka next quarter 4 2015, next quarter is quarter 1. So, ang barya niya is 45%. So, 180,000 times 45%, that's how we get the 81,000. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes?
Asa gikan ang 180,000, ma'am?
Okay, that is from our problem again. Gi-indicate dito nga na ay accounts payable nga. Okay, ang nadalay 81,000, pardon. Ay work back na guro nila ni. Pero, if ang gihatag is the 180,000, that's how you get times 45%. Pero ang gihatag diri ang 81,000. Wala igday gihatag sa problem ng 180, but it gives you an idea na if ang na-collect 81,000, if you get 100%, i-divide by 45, that's how you get 180. Okay. So, wala siya sa problem, no? 81,000 day ang gihatag. Okay. Yeah, so there is an explanation here. Sa 81,000, ipakita giun sa pagkuha ang 180. So, 81,000 divided by 0.45. That is 1 minus 0.55. So, that is 0.45. That's how we get the 180,000. Okay, you work back. Kaya ang gihatag na sa problem is the 81,000, not the 180,000. Okay. Let's continue. So, mo na dayon niyang gipang utang. Manigikan, guys. 209,520, 295,920, 2,620,80, 327, 240. So, this is from our purchases. Balik ta sa itong purchases. Okay, so kani, diri na to nagi kuha. Related sa to ang cash payment is of course ang atong gikumpra nga materials. Okay. So, yun. You have now the kuan, the amount of our credit purchases, and then apply lang dayon to times 55% times 45%. So, 209,520 times 55%. So, 115,236, mabariyan siya sa current quarter. Ang 45% pagka next quarter. 94,284. Same with the quarter 2, mabariyan ang 55%. Pagka next quarter ang 45%. Pagka quarter 3, 55%. And then 45% for the next quarter. For quarter 4, okay, mabariyan ang 55% related to the purchase for the quarter 4. Okay? So, ano lang, 55, 45, 55, 45, 55, 45, 55, 45, and then 55. 45 niya is related na po sa 2070. Okay, then you get the total amount and you will now have the budgeted payment. Pila ang i-budget nato for the payment to the supplier. Okay, question so far?
Excuse me, ma'am. Agi nagkuha og 45%, ma'am.
Okay. So, di ba, ingon ang problem. The company pays 55% of its purchases in the quarter of purchase, and the remaining balance is to be paid in following quarter. So, kung mabariyan na ni mga 55%, ilalay kulang. Remaining balance will be 45. That is 100 minus 55. The remaining balance is equal to 45%. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
Kining sa quarter 1 aning 584, given naman ni siya, di ba, ma'am?
Yes, that is given. Okay, another question? Okay, let's continue. Okay, for the cash budget, Okay, dagan kayo ko ano, figures, but again, balik na dyan ta sa problem, ani, and you will see how it was computed. Cash balance beginning. First item is the cash balance beginning. So, lang tao na to, how much is the cash balance beginning? Okay, let's read the problem. Okay, so we have labor cost, fixed overhead, and then transaction related to non-current asset, operating expenses equal to 20%, and then the 20,000 income tax, and then the minimum cash balance. Okay, accordingly, dapat na yung minimum cash balance nga 400,000. In case of deficit, the corporation can avail a credit line in multiples of 25 from a financing institution at a rate of 14%. Interest is paid quarterly based on outstanding balance at the beginning of the quarter, and the payments will be at multiples of 25,000 again whenever cash is available at the end of each quarter. The cash balance on July 1, 2016 is expected to equal the minimum cash balance. So, this bullet or this fifth additional information is very important as it tells us the pilay sugod sa tong kwarta. So, yun siya, January 1, 2016, the company followed the equal minimum cash balance. Pila man na? 400,000. Okay, we will write 400,000. That is the cash balance beginning. Ikanto siya sa additional information. And then, we will apply now katong gipang compute na to. Cash receipt. This is from the cash receipt budget. Budgeted cash collection. Atong na-collect, 1,304,000. So, diri na. Add na to. Puna na tong kwarta og 1,304,000. And then, add, that is now our total cash available for use is now amounted to 1,704,000. And then, we will now reflect all the payments nga gibarian sa company. Of course, first, pagpangumpra sa merchandise or materials. Ani siya gikuha. Ara, the cash payment to merchandise to suppliers, 196,236. Okay, kinani siya. Next, direct labor payment. Katutong gibarian sa tuang mga personnel. Gikuha ni siya sa ato ang direct labor budget. So, man to. Kay ara, na atong labor cost, 320,000. Okay? Next, factory overhead payment. Balik na po ta sa... Okay, yes, gang.
Asa to dapat gikuha, ma'am? Ang direct
Kal-
labor payments?
Okay, dito sa tuang budgeted direct labor. Balik ta sa tuang gibuhat nga budget direct labor cost. Ara, tawa si quarter 1, 320,000. Okay? Mao man ay gasto nato for the labor. So that is cash payment. 320,000. Next, factory overhead payment. So this is related to our budgeted factory overhead. Nag-prepare na to earlier. So, balik na punta sa tuang budgeted factory overhead. So, we have here 155,000. Okay. Kani si 155,000, mo na ba na siya? Supposedly, kato na unta no, 155,000. Pero, balikan na to ang causes. Kanio, 30% of the total fixed overhead is non-cash. That's why, i-adjust na to ang overhead. Pardon? So, you have to adjust the overhead because 30% is non-cash. For the cash budget, strictly cash budget. Of course, that is cash budget. So that's why, atong total fixed overhead nga, pila to? 155,000, kuhaan na to na og 30%. Okay? So, how did we come up with pila to 130 to 500? Gikuhaan na tog 30% ato ang fixed overhead. Mamaman na diri sa tong information no. Dili na to apilon ang 30% because that is related to non-cash. So example sa fixed overhead nga non-cash, amortization, depreciation, walay cash nga gigasto ang company ana. That is just allocation for the expense related to the wear and tear of the machines and equipment. So, kompyuto na to ha. Ang atong budgeted factory variable is 80,000. Okay, no problem. 80,000 atong baryo nun. Pero, sa fixed factory overhead nga 75,000, 30% non-cash. 70%, it means, of course, 70 cash related. So, we will just get the 70%. Pilay cash related sa fixed overhead. So, we multiply 75,000 times 70% na lang. Kaya 30% dili cash. So, there is a total 52,500 fixed factory overhead that is related to cash transactions. So, add na to 52,500. When you add this one, total factory overhead nga naay cash payment involved is 132,500. Okay? The same process with the next quarter. For example, quarter 2. Variable, 97,500. Again, yung fixed overhead ko ag 30%. So, 52,500 na lang. For the quarter 2, ang mabayad related to factory overhead is pila man? 150,000. Quarter 1, 132,500. Quarter 2, 150,000. So, di nga to pagkuha guys sa 130 to 500, 150, and so on. Operating expenses, okay, gihatag na ni siya. Ingon ang additional information, operating expenses is 20% of our total sales sa tuang quarter. So, total sales sa quarter 1 is 1.2 million times 20%, that is 240,000. Multiply lang 20%. And then, income tax paid, 20,000. That is from the information again above. Kaming bayad og income tax. So, that's it. I-add lang ninyo ang total cash payment kanitanan from purchases to income tax paid. So, nagastos sa company, 908,736. So, nakay cash available, 1,704,000 minusan og 908,736. So, you will get, pilalay na bilin sa inyong kwarta, 1,704,000 minus 908,736. So, the remaining balance is 795,264. And then, this ending, cash balance ending, will become the cash balance beginning for the next quarter. Same process na po. Okay? So, ang ending sa previous quarter will become the next balance for the next quarter. Okay. Okay, that's it, guys. That's how you prepare the cash budget. You will reflect all the related collections and payments. So, cash balance beginning plus receipt minus payment is equal to cash balance ending. Okay, questions so far?
Sa total year 2016, ma'am,
Okay. For the total year 2016, okay, the same process. Ang cash balance beginning, gikan sa quarter 1. Okay. We total that one. Got this. I-total lang natin ang collection. So that is 5,668,000. Sale of non-current asset, 174. Total lang na. 400 plus 568 plus 174,000. So, 6,242,000 ang available for use. Then, ang mga cash payment. So, i-add lang yapon natin from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Add lang na. So, the total amounts, okay, total payment, 4,697,252. Okay? Actually, if you add that one, that will also equate to 4,697,252. And then, moto, cash available for use, minusan og, diba, 6,242, less the payment for the year, cash payment made for the year, 4,697,252. So, natay ending cash balance, 1,544,748, meaning, at the end of the year 2016, ang nabilin nga kwarta is 1,544,748, which is again, equal sa ending balance sa quarter 4. Okay? The same nga ang quarter 1 beginning, equal siya ang quarter 4 ending will be equal to the ending balance sa cash for the year 2016. Okay? That's it, guys.